There's that moment at the there's that moment at the Thanksgiving table. The meal is over, the conversation is flowing, and then it happens. The pumpkin pie is placed on the table, and suddenly all the joy drowns out of the room, and you feel a knot tighten in your stomach. You can feel their eyes on you, right? You can already hear the words. Just have a small slice. It'll make grandma happy. And the battle in your head begins. One voice is screaming, "Don't you dare. You've been so good." While another one whispers, "Don't be rude. Don't make a scene. It's just one bite." For years, we've been told that this moment is a test of our willpower. You feel trapped, like a failure, but it's a lie. That feeling isn't a character flaw. It's a calculated psychological manipulation disguised as tradition. The conflict you feel has been intentionally designed to make you fail. It's not tradition, it's sabotage. So, today, we are not talking about low carb pie. We are going to dismantle the psychological trap itself. I'm going to give you a new way to see the situation so that you can navigate this holiday feeling calm and in control and completely free from guilt. And I want to start off by saying that Thanksgiving used to be about gathering family and friends around the table in gratitude for what we had accomplished and the experiences we had in the past year, right? Going around the table and listening to the things we were thankful for. We would all say what made us happy this past year. And then we'd have the meal, having a laugh with our family and friends. The food was originally the reward of work done in the harvesting, right? Or the great job we did, like raising livestock. Today, the food is a symbolic reminder of all the hard work we did this past year at our jobs, right? That allowed us to afford this large meal. The juicy turkey, the delicious pies, and of course, all that laughter. We tie the meal to the enjoyment today rather than the accomplishments. That's a major problem with Okay, first of all, there's a huge problem with the current Thanksgiving meal because the turkey is the only protein source. Every side dish is a high carbohydrate food. We have green bean casserole, mashed potatoes, candied yams, sweet potato casserole, and of course, even the turkey is stuffed with bread or crackers. Like nobody today has the time to make all this stuff from scratch. So we have the other problem that so many of these items that we are eating are canned or mixes, which translates to what? It translates to hyper palatable creations designed to be addictive and ramp up our cravings. These aren't grandma's recipes anymore. They're corporate recipes. And they're going to be marketed as convenient and low sodium and high flavor savors for our Thanksgiving celebrations. Like they're going to market them to us really well. You know, you don't have to worry about your diet because the pumpkin pie is naturally sweetened with maple syrup or something. That that isn't helping our health, and you know it. That's why you don't want to. go overboard by eating this stuff. We need to look at that Thanksgiving menu of today and recognize that it's so different than the menu that we used to have. Because those harvest foods were things like corn, squash, beans, and nuts, and they weren't sweet at all. Walnuts were. They weren't overly sweetened. They weren't made into pies and fancy desserts. And the main courses were meat, multiple kinds of meat, multiple kinds of poultry, and different kinds of seafood because we were celebrating what we had accomplished. How well had we done in the previous year in preparing for the cold months? That pumpkin pie we have today, pecan pie, apple pie, there's so many kinds of pie that we have at our Thanksgiving meal with ice cream. Don't forget we have to put the ice cream on it. That's more about exciting our mouths than being thankful for the year that just passed. The food has become the purpose of the gathering. And that's a huge problem. Traditions are actually supposed to be stable over time. But somehow, the Thanksgiving tradition of having a bunch of meat and healthy vegetables has somehow become about carby side dishes, right? It's no longer about the healthy stuff because it's no longer about being proud of ourselves for for gathering this healthy stuff to get us through the winter. Now, we still have the turkey, right? We still have the turkey, but those high sugar side dishes and desserts are causing a problem for our bodies that I really want to help you to see right now. Because what I want you to understand is that your struggle to resist the pumpkin pie or pecan or apple or whatever it was that was just put in front of you is not just because it looks delicious. It's not just because you kind of remember what it tastes like. If you're on some kind of healthy way of eating like keto or carnivore, and you've been doing really good over the past few weeks, but even if you've been doing a normal diet and just haven't been eating junk food, there's a reason that that pie all of a sudden looks super amazing to you. It's because those high sugar side dishes that you had beside your turkey have already triggered the reward center of your brain because they're high in sugar to begin with. Carbohydrate and sugar are two words for the same stuff. Now, I'm going to point out to you that because I remember this being the case for me. Let me talk about myself. I remember knowing even before I was offered that piece of pie that it was running through my head. Am I eating it? Am I going to have it? Like, right? When I was doing a standard diet, because I'd eaten all these other things that were on the table, right? You wanted it. Even though I'm doing better. I'm eating properly. I've been good for months now. And we don't understand why this happens. That compelled feeling that you have was triggered by the sweet potato pie and the candied yams and the macaroni pie, if your family does that, and all the different carbohydrate side dishes you just ate. You may even decide to take that small bite, right? That small piece of pie as a compromise because not only does it make grandma happy, but it's going to calm this inner that I'm having with myself, right? It's going to calm that craving because again, now my brain is triggered and I really want it, but I'm just going to take a small piece. But that craving doesn't get calmed. It gets more intense because now I've chased the high carbohydrate side dishes with the high carbohydrate and possibly actually sweet tasting dessert. The taste of sweet also triggers the reward center. This is the sabotage, wellness warrior. Once we allow ourselves to eat off plan, those healthy side dishes, right? Healthy for everybody else, but they're carbohydrate heavy. And we think to ourselves, oh, it's just once a year. Is it really once a year? Because we're at Thanksgiving. Well, in Canada, it's Thanksgiving. We're at Thanksgiving. But what about Christmas? Oh, we have to cross through Halloween, by the way. Is this the only time that we're going to have this kind of stuff in our no. We just reintroduce the addictive carbohydrates and we are craving and we are out of control again. The goal is not about beating the meal with willpower. It's not the goal, wellness warrior. It's to see this situation with reality. This is a family event where you're meant to enjoy your time with friends and family. Feeling defensive about what you will eat will make you feel like a failure. It will make you feel like the bad guy because I'm saying no to the thing that grandma wants me to eat. It's going to make you feel antisocial because maybe I have to stay out of the room altogether while people are, it's because, right? It's going to make you feel bad. What I want you to do instead is solve the actual problem in a way where you win. So, what you're going to do, Wellness Warrior, is focus on enjoying the interactions with family and friends. If I put all of my attention on the interactions with family and friends, and I make sure that my plate is full of things that I know are healthy for me, how does that change the story? Right? You're there for the conversations, for the reminiscing and the laughter, right? You're not there for the high carbohydrate food. So, the way that it changes the situation for you, first of all, is that I'm not triggering my brain. If I eat things that I know keep me in line with whatever healthy diet that you're doing, I absolutely suggest keto or carnivore, which would mean in keto case, I have meat, so turkey with vegetables, and you're probably going to want to have some butter on the plate because turkey tends to be a less fatty meat. And so it might leave you feeling a little hungry. You might want some butter to dip the turkey in. Just a little tip from me to you. Or if you're doing carnivore, I would just have a plate of meat. In that case, it would be I really do struggle with Thanksgiving because I'm not a fan of turkey. But if I was going to eat something, that's what I would be eating because that would be the thing that I could eat that's going to let me be on plan. How do we get that to happen? Before the event, Wellness Warrior, is how we get this to happen. You are going to decide what you want your meal to look like before the event. And that does a lot of things for you. First of all, it allows you to bring a side dish that you know you love, that falls in line with the way that you are going to eat, just in case. That's the only side dish available for you to have at the meal. But at least you know you have that. But it also allows you to verify with the host what the meal options are going to be, right? Because you could just have a conversation and make sure that there's more than one thing that you will be able to eat and just kind of check on how it was made. But another option you absolutely have, Wellness Warrior, if what the host is making, none of it sounds great, and if you're like me and you're not a fan of turkey anyway, eat before you go. Eat before you go. As a matter of fact, if being at the event during the meal portion would make you uncomfortable and I have a family like mine where the meal is like a part of a gigantic day, eating before you go and then going for the parts where you know you're going to be fine is an actual option, wellness warrior. But I want you to do the thing that's going to help you to be okay, to maintain the advances that you had made in your diet leading up to that point. There is a way to do this. But keep in mind, wellness warrior, if you eat off plan and end up craving or in pain the following day, which would have been my story, you're the one who has to deal with that. You saying no to a cookie isn't you hurting anyone, right? That's you taking care of yourself. That's you making sure that your tomorrow looks okay. Because the most powerful tool of manipulation that has been woven into our society by companies is not seen in advertisements. It's not on the packaging. It's not even the food itself, wellness warrior. In this particular case, the strong thing that they've done is they've gotten us to persuade each other. We don't like to eat alone. We don't like to drink alone or any of the other party stuff we do. We want to do it with other people. That whole misery loves company idea is still there, and it gets us to beg the people we love to act against their best interest. We actually ask people we care about to trade their health for happiness. And if we need, sorry, we need to see that transaction for what it really is if we're ever going to take our power back, wellness warrior. Like, we don't want to give up what we figured out. But the problem is, especially when we're doing a keto or carnivore diet that everyone around us doesn't understand, we don't get the support from our family members to stay on track. And so therefore, we end up we end up in that bad scenario where because they don't get it, they're pushing us to just act normal today. Just eat like the rest of us today. And we want to be part of the group. This is our family. We are one of them. But I remember my first Thanksgiving as a keto person and looking at the table and realizing beside the salad, that's all I was having today. And I'm even the salad was hard for me because regular salad dressing, so those seed oils. And you know what? I ate more meat than I normally eat. And because my mom knows I don't like turkey, there was chicken there for me. But normally I would have probably had a chicken leg and then a bunch of other stuff on the table. But I had two chicken legs and a teeny bit of salad. And now looking back on it today, I wouldn't even have had the salad. Well, I'm carnivore now, so of course I wouldn't have the salad. But the following years, I didn't even have the salad. I stuck to what I learned from Dr. Barry, and I didn't put those seed oils in my body. Today, I understand that Thanksgiving is about gathering with the people we love. Yes, there will be food, but the food is not the focus. And I'm able to do that today because, first of all, I've allowed myself to understand that what I eat builds me and determines how I'm going to feel tomorrow. I like feeling good. That's the first thing. But number two, I've realized that this is a lie that's been woven into our idea about gatherings that doesn't need to be there. Food is not the center of why we get together with other people. The people are. Engage in conversations. Share what's going on in your life. make new memories. You know, the people that we care about, we don't get to spend 24/7 with them. I go off to work, my kids go off to work, my family goes off to work or do their activities or whatever, those who are retired are doing their whatever activities. Enjoying the people is what it's actually supposed to be about, not focusing on the plates of food in front of you. But we see it every year, we see it. Like now that I'm not part of it, I can look across the table and see how some people are checked out, not engaged in the conversation because they're so focused on what's on their plate. Oh, yay, grandma made XYZ pie, or oh, yay, this dessert is there. I can't wait to get to it. Oh, the candied yams and all the stuff that isn't helping your body. This year is the year, right, that you take your body seriously and you get to wake up tomorrow morning feeling proud and healthy instead of bloated and ashamed. Because this isn't about deprivation, Wellness Warrior. Guaranteed, I do not feel deprived that I haven't had a cookie or chocolate in over, I would have to say, 7 years, definitely 6 years, but I'm even going to push it to seven, I think, by this point, that I haven't had a piece of chocolate or a cookie. No, I had peanut butter cookies, a piece of chocolate. I haven't had a piece of chocolate in over 7 years. I haven't had chips in over 7 years. I haven't had ice cream and I don't care. I haven't had pie or any of the side dishes at Thanksgiving or Christmas or any of the holidays. It's about realizing that true health is the ultimate gift that you can give yourself and your family. Because when you prioritize health, your health, you're choosing to be around for many more holidays and events in your family's life and be around in a way that you actually can engage. When I go to events, I can actually run around and play with the little people that are there compared to some of the people in my family that are much younger than me and their back is hurt, their knee is hurt, they don't have the energy, they're huffing and puffing and things. We need to understand how important this is if we're going to have any chance at changing it. This holiday season, I want you to go to these events and prioritize your health. Eat a healthy meal or eat before you go. Make a decision, but know what you're doing before your foot crosses the threshold of whose ever house the event is at. Make a decision. And if the event is at your house, oh my goodness, cook things that are going to be good for you, right? You might still have the other things for your family members, but cook the things that you know you can eat so that your holiday stays on track for you. That should have been one of the first things that I said. If this video helped you to see your holiday in a new light, please share it with someone you care about who could benefit from this message as well. That would really, really be important to do. And I also want you to come over and join wellnesssquad.org. That's where my community is located now. You go there, there's a new sign up. And I want you to join the actual captain's level of the community because I want you to be in our next meeting. We have Monday office hours. My goal is for you to be confident to eat on plan this holiday season, Wellness Warriors. So I've dropped the price from $40 down to $10. I want to get as many people in there as possible and get you ready for Thanksgiving. I know yours is coming in a few weeks. Ours is today, but yours is in November. I want you to be ready for Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. Join me in the captains so that we can talk it through. There's a special going on there. If you'd like a more personalized interaction with me, you can join the really small group that's available at the majors level. It's listed there too, and that's a smaller group only that caps out at 6 people. But then you get to have more conversations with me. So let's do this. I want you to be healthy. And the only way I can make sure that you're healthy is for you to understand these tricks and change your mindset. We need to talk through all of these mind foolishness that they've done. I need you to see these mindset shifts so you can stay on track with eating healthy keto and carnivore or low carb, what you're doing. Well, let's talk it through. So take advantage of the special before it goes back up to 40. Trying to help 1,000 people to improve their health. And I really want to be able to know that I did that. And you joining me, this is for you, it's for me, it's for both of us. It's exciting. So let's do this. Now, I want to look at the questions and the comments. And like, if you have questions, please put your questions in now. You don't have to wait. I'm going to go through, first of all, everything that I see. And then we're going to answer any questions. This is the moment. So hello, nice to have you here. Linda, nice to have you in here. It's no problem. Obviously, I'm just glad you're here. Let me know if you have any questions, Linda. It's nice to see you. Hey, Pat, nice to see you in here. And Nigel says, "Misery loves company." You're so right. I, it was a hard one for me when I was younger to understand that idea. But I think it really first clicked to me when I started going out dancing with my friends. And like, so oftentimes I was driving and my parents like had a strict rule. You're driving, no drinking, right? They're lend me their car. So you're driving, no drinking. So when I went out and I was the one driving, I didn't drink. And my friends were always like, "Oh, one drink, they're not gonna know." But and it really did make me like realize how like that was the first time I think I ever actually experienced it in that way. Because for everything else that would happen, I was on board with doing whatever we were doing. Right. And then fast forward to when I got my own car. And at that moment, I was like, I would let myself have one drink and I could just play with it the entire time. And if I finished it before we were ready to leave, then I would be on soda for the rest of the night. And I still had that problem with my friends. So now I had one drink and you're like, well, I have to have more than one. And I feel like that it never ends. So there is this thing in our culture, in our communities, in our social world that says if I'm doing a bad thing, the people around me must be doing it. That is not reality. I don't want us to feel trapped by that. And so it really does I wanted to say it out loud in this video. I wanted to remind us that misery loves company is just a bad reason to ever do something. And if we don't see there, come on, why not? As a version of that, you're doing the wrong thing, so I should do the wrong. If we don't see it that way, we might end up getting pulled in. Thank you, Pat, for reminding people to hit the like button. That really does help. If and share the video. It does all of those things help. Hello, the Kitty Gamer. Hello, I'm new to the channel. I have been trying keto but failing miserably. I'm hoping maybe carnivore will help me. So, okay, that's an interesting thought. What I will say is if you've been trying keto and failing, I'm still a big proponent of getting keto right before we move on to carnivore for a major reason I'm going to explain in a second. But let's start with the keto part because one of the things that I think causes people to struggle with doing keto is that when you do a keto diet, if you every week even, it could be as infrequently as every week, eat off plan, and get your carb count back to a place where you are no longer in ketosis, you will have to go through keto flu, right? So that withdrawal, because that's what it really is. It's withdrawal. You will go through withdrawal over and over and over, which then sends you in this place of eating on plan and then eating off plan and then feeling bad and having to go through all that and then, right? So that's one possible problem. If you're lucky enough that you're staying in ketosis, so you're staying close enough to ketosis that you're not having a full-blown withdrawal, we also need to understand that the chasing that happens and the jonesing is how the word I like to say that like that it means that you're like you're you feel compelled to eat off plan. So you feel compelled to have the ice cream or the cookies or the chocolate. That part of the story is also a withdrawal symptom. So you're not having the huge headache and like feeling nauseous part of the system, the symptoms, but you're having the chasing, the like all I can think about is junk food part of it, so the mind part. And which tells me that you again got kicked out of ketosis. So part 1 is getting through that part. I would want to see you be able to be keto for at least 2 weeks at the minimum before you switch to carnivore, because so here's the thing, but I would rather you do keto for months before you switch to carnivore. Like, do it properly, no cheating, no problems, for multiple months before you switch, because when we do normal diet to carnivore, we actually are taking away a lot of carbohydrate and toxins out of our diet at the same time, because plants introduce oxalates, anti-nutrients, and other toxins. Like, for example, I can't eat nightshades even before when I was keto, because the solanine in nightshades would just make my joints throb and I would just wake up in pain. So there are all these toxins in vegetation, and that's all vegetation. They all have something in them that cause our body to struggle. So when you go straight from standard diet, I'm eating whatever, or keto, but you keep falling off, which means you're still eating whatever, and you go to carnivore and you're only eating meat and maybe meat, fish, poultry, dairy, like if you're doing that kind of scenario, you've still removed all the plant toxins, which means you could end up dumping. And what that is, like, so there's oxalate dumping has been coined as a term, which means that when your body sees that there's not oxalate coming in and it no longer needs to hide the oxalate away in fat storage, yes, you're going to lose weight, but your body might also take that opportunity to dump a bunch of oxalate, and that could lead to like health problems because all the toxin is back. But I would say that although it's less, our body has a better mechanism for managing the sugar dump, you still will have the same thing. But that's those regular keto flu slash withdrawal symptoms that we see. We're nauseous and so I feel like our body manages the sugar dump better than it manages some of these other dumps. And we could end up with gallstones and all kinds of skin problems. We could end up with all kinds of things. I always encourage people pass through keto to get to carnivore, because that process of getting down to really I'm only eating meat, fish, poultry, eggs, and the healthiest vegetables I can, those healthiest vegetables are healthier because number one, they've brought in that carbohydrate load, the number one thing that is poisoning you, down. But they've also brought down the load of all the other vegetation just because you're not eating as wide a breadth of vegetation as you were eating before. So now we're eating a more reasonable level of vegetation. And now if you want to transition to carnivore, you can start eliminating things, maybe the vegetation you like the least, just eliminate things and proceed. Regardless, no matter how you end up doing this, it's important to realize that at each stage, if I bring back something, so let's say you do, you do, okay, I'm going to go a higher level one more step again because I just realized something. When we do keto, it's a lifestyle. So keto is not a, it's a diet in the terms of it's a way of eating, but it's not a diet like a short term do it today and you stop doing it. Keto is a lifestyle. As soon as you decide that that's what you're doing, you need to look at it and understand, then that's what I'm doing. Bringing foods back interrupts what your body is trying to do. What your body's actually trying to do is heal you, rebuild you properly, make you as healthy as it possibly can. So bringing back foods actually ends up being harmful And this is why you end up chasing, and you're back into um your reward center of your brain is lighting up again, and all the things that are happening that we are trying to help ourselves heal from. So kitty sorry the keto kitty gamer, the point I'm making to you right now is, if you're looking to do carnivore because what you're trying to do is lose weight, but your goal was never to stay carnivore, or maybe never even to stay keto, I'm going to pause you right now and I'm going to say this path is not that. Whatever we do to lose weight, we will need to continue to maintain our good health. And so I'm saying that on purpose that way. Whatever you do to get your good health back is actually the thing that allows you to lose weight, because it's a healthy body that regulates its weight. We are not forcing weight loss by eating keto. We are healing our body, and then our body is allowed then to release the weight because it's not putting all these toxins in fat storage, because it's not just sugar that gets put in fat storage. It's part of the reason that it's so frustrating to me when I hear people say, oh, it's just a calorie deficit and all blah 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 blah. It's not. In fat storage are all the toxins that you've eaten, that your body is trying to protect you from, all the toxins that you've inhaled in fat storage, your body's trying to protect you from, all the toxins that we put on our skin in fat storage, our body's trying to protect us. This is why Dr. Bickman had that video where he was talking about, I believe it was Dr. Bickman. It was either Dr. Bickman or Dr. Mason that had that video. He was talking about all the scents, right? The scented candles and the smelling the creams, and especially I think it was lavender was one of them that, and I'm not 100% sure. I think it was lavender that was one of them that was estrogenic. And where they were talking about how men putting this on their skin, bad idea, but also inhaling it in a can from a candle or a room spray or whatever. We are being fooled into ingesting so much stuff that is toxic to our system, some of them mimicking our hormones, some of them just straight up toxic. Yeah, it smells exciting, but then in your body it's doing bad things, that our body grabs those things and puts them in fat storage. So, if you want to be carnivore forever, yes, of course, I have videos that can help you to become carnivore. I have videos that can help you to stick to keto long term. My suggestion for you, the keto kitty gamer, my suggestion to you is, before you switch over to carnivore, please, please, please get comfortable with keto and see, is this something that you think you'd be able to do forever? Now, if your goal was to become carnivore and be that forever, and you've already made that decision, then I change what I'm about to say and I say this: get comfortable with keto, do it for a few months, let your body regulate, and just remove stuff as you go. And I do have a video about that. But it's important for you to understand that this stuff is, it's how your body is building itself. And that person that back in the, I don't know, 1800s, I think it was, that said, let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. That person that said that was not just saying something catchy. They were trying to help us understand that if you eat the right food, the real food, the healthy food, your body builds itself properly. If you decide to eat garbage, if you decide to eat for fun, your body's going to build you based on that, right? And that is not going to help you. It's going to harm you. And then medical has you, then the weight loss world will have you because you're going to want to lose weight. Obviously the garbage companies have you because you're eating the garbage. So all of these people will have you, and you're not going to be a happy person. And Kitty went away. Okay. She has plenty to go. Okay, yes. Thank you, Pat, for pointing that out. Linda, Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday. Used to be for the gratitude focus, and I must admit, for the pie. Now, oh, hi. Now I'll be focusing on the thankfulness I like that. Yeah, I do. Again, it as a child, I remember more of my Thanksgiving. And again, this is probably because I hate turkey. I've always hated turkey, part one. But probably also because my favorite thing was always chocolate, and the Thanksgiving meal is not around chocolate. Part of the reason that Halloween, Easter, and Christmas were more favored holidays to me than Thanksgiving. What I remember about Thanksgiving was exactly that. The going around the table, thankful for a story, the playing with my cousins, because I didn't care about the meal. This was not a meal that I was happy to be having. And especially when I was like under the age of like 14. Like this was just not a meal that I looked at all. And above 14, I was I was happier in the sense that, well, happier. Although I wasn't into what was there, I at least was now eating pie, like apple pie. So I would eat some of the apple pie, but it still wasn't like a happy meal. It was just like, oh, okay, I can have some pie. But chocolate was always my thing. And yeah, I resonate with you on the fact that I do like Thanksgiving more for the family gathering it was for our family. Everybody came together. Thanksgiving and Christmas, everybody came together. Like you knew, and New Year's Day, sorry. Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's Day. You knew you were going to see everyone. And I'm talking everyone, extended family and all. Everybody was cramming into a house somewhere. Oh, sing it. Hi, I'm great to see you here today. I'm so excited for this. Um, I haven't celebrated holidays in years, so I ask purely out of curiosity, what will your dinner look like today? Is it fancy or is it just dinner? Still a celebration? Oh, so you know what? It depends. So in actually each of my family scenarios, it's become a meal. It's not the grand scenario that it's used to be, mostly because people have passed. And so I don't have, like, my grandmother was a hub of like the meals being made. My aunt was a hub of the meals being made, and my mother was a hub of the meals being made. And so because there were three of them, and the three major holidays, they would rotate the three major holidays. So when my grandmother left, it started to go back and forth between my mom and my aunt, but now my aunt has left and it's all on my mom's shoulders because, well, I would say my mom has claimed Christmas, and I hate Thanksgiving, so there's no way I would do that meal. And so I'm doing the New Year's meal, and my mom does the Christmas meal. Um, but yeah, so Thanksgiving, if I go to my mom's, I know there'll be turkey, which is probably why I'm not gonna go to have turkey. I'm gonna pass by and just like, the whole Thanksgiving things and whatever and chill out and like take part in hanging out with them for a little bit. But Pat and me and the kids are probably going to have like some kind of pork something later. So, and it's still going to be a Thanksgiving meal, like I guess, quote unquote, but we just eat what we like. Right. But we'll probably still talk about Thanksgiving and we'll probably do the thing. But I think the point for me is that the meal itself is not the point. I'm going to go see my mom and whoever's there based on seeing them, not based on eating what they're eating, if that makes sense, because I won't be eating what they're eating, like very likely. And if actually I don't know, because if the boys feel like having turkey at my mom's, then I would just make something else for myself. So I'm very easy flow kind of way when it comes to family gatherings now. They know that I'm only going to eat meat, and so like theoretically, had I pre-told my mom I was coming, then we would be having chicken. Like there'd be chicken there because that was always what she did for me, knowing that I hate turkey. um, Actually, the only time I don't get accommodations from my mom is on Good Friday. Everybody had fish. I had to have fish. That was the only time I didn't get an accommodation. Oh, oh. So thanks to everyone for coming and sharing. If you have a question left, this is the time to do it. But I just want to close down by saying that first of all, I'm very happy to be back doing this. I'm so happy to have people that are willing to join me and just have these conversations and kind of hash it out, talk it out. There's 16 people in here right now, which is super cool. I'm really, really excited for that. And it just reminds me, or yeah, it just reminds me of how amazing you all are because you want your health to be better. And like it's really important for us to focus on our health because if we don't focus on it, who's going to focus on it? So the Keto Kitty Gamer said that's a tongue twister, by the way, of a title. I'm overweight, but I have joint pain. So I am overweight, but I have joint pain and tendonitis all over. So we have both things, plus chronic fatigue syndrome. Okay, three things. And that's been for over 30 years. And you've been keto for 5 years. So am I understanding it? What you're saying is that you've been trying to do a ketogenic lifestyle for 5 years, but you keep falling off. If that's what you're saying, I really do encourage you to come join our group. And like we're having a meeting like next week, Monday, and we're going to talk. And honestly, like, I feel like it's hard, even though you're telling me that you have joint pain, tendonitis all over, overweight, chronic fatigue syndrome. There are certain things that just happen in life that if we talk it through, we can put ourselves on a positive path to help us then understand how to tackle different situations or even looking at what I'm doing. So what am I considering a keto diet and how am I understanding how my body is reacting to what I'm doing? These things it's really hard to do like this where I can't really talk it through with you. So I'm going to say that, but I'm still going to give you my answer. So I was obese. My chronic pain came later. So, no, that's not true. My chronic pain came first. I had joint pain from 23 to 46. From 38-ish. No, I'm wrong. How old was I? Yeah. So from 38-ish forward is when my weight started to come on. So normal weight all the way up until I had my daughter. And then I was still normal weight after I gave birth, went back to normal weight, but then somehow the weight started to come on. And then, right? So chronic pain, weight gain, got to the point of obesity. That was the diagnostic terminology. When I stepped on the scale and looked at my obesity, that was the term. And then joint pain skyrocketed to the point where I couldn't step. My hip was hurting so bad. And they were telling me surgery was in my future. I'm letting you know right now, the Keto Kitty Gamer, I'm letting you know right now that it did not take me 5 years of doing keto to solve it all. But I understood because the first person I found was Dr. Fung and Dr. Westman. And between the two of them, I understood that this was not a diet. It was a new way of eating that was going to heal my body. And that once I started, I was to do this moving forward. And because I actually understood that based on Dr. Westman explaining to me what was happening in the body and Dr. Fung explaining what role food was having on my weight gain. So those two things mixed together. And then I found other doctors. I found Dr. Barry. I found Dr. Berg. I found Dr. Eckberg. I found a lot of doctors. I found so many doctors. And as I started to understand what these other doctors were saying, first of all, it lined up with what the first two doctors I found, it lined up. And second of all, most importantly, it helped me to understand it's the food that controls my weight. It's the food that controls how my body is built. Dr. Barry emphatically said, throw all seed oils away, all foods containing seed oils away. Do not consume seed oils. They are poisoning your body. No ifs, ands, or buts. He said, give your vegetation to a food bank or to someone you know who's in need. Seed oils to the garbage. I took that seriously. And the keto kitty gamer, what I want you to see is that because I was focused on understanding when my body was in ketosis, I learned to tell when it wasn't. And these are, again, they're not things that, it's not just one thing and you're gonna like, oh, if that happens, I'm out. No, there's multiple different ways that your body can tell you that it's fallen out of ketosis. And sometimes your body hurting means something else. And so there's too much for me to be able to say to you in a video like this, because I don't know what your actual situation is. And I don't want you to ignore something that you should be paying attention to, but I don't want you to stress over something that's a normal signal that means that your body's getting better. So what I will say, it took me 3 months of eating healthy. No if, ands, or buts. No playing games with myself. No, right? I made the choice, the decision, not even a choice, it was a decision that I was going to eat healthy and I was going to keep learning. I did both things at the same time. I was starting to eat healthy and I started immediately, April 20th, 2018. And I say immediately, it took me a month and a half of research to make sure that what I was about to do was safe. So I didn't want to make myself sicker. But once I took the decision, I was all in. Ate healthy every single day. No exceptions, no question marks, no nothing. And 3 months later, my hip pain was gone. Now, would I say my hip was healed? No. But I could walk around, run upstairs again. I was back to longboarding, and that winter I did get to go snowboarding, not a lot because of craziness, but I did get to go. No, I did I go was that the shutdown year? That might have been the shutdown year when all the crazy happened in our world, 2018. No, that no, I think I did go. No, I think I did go once, and then it got shut down. So I think I did get to go. Yeah, I did. We got shut down in April, so of the following year. So we got to ski that year or snowboard and all the stuff. But I was back to living my life. I was back to enjoying myself. I was back to being me before I was back to go weight. So it took me 3 months to be able to run around again, and I rode my stuff in that summer. It took me 5 months to be able to be at goal weight. So when I see people saying that they are 5 years doing keto and they haven't arrived, a lot of the time it's because we are following some information that's inaccurate. And this is why I really encourage you. When I tell you the doctors that I'm looking at, is because I want you to look at those doctors. I recently put up a video talking about doctors, like that trusted sources thing that YouTube puts there. And some of these doctors, Dr. Mike was one of the examples I gave, where he doesn't understand keto. He hasn't taken the time to sit down and investigate why it works, why it doesn't. And he says things like keto just works because of calorie restriction. That's not why keto works, because I can guarantee you I eat more calories now than I ever did when I was doing standard diet, and I am at goal weight, and I've been at goal weight for 7+ years. It's going to be 8 years in April that I'm at goal weight. No, that's not right. It'll be 8 years next September. So it's 7+ years though that I'm at goal weight, right? Because I got to goal weight in September 2018. And I've not struggled with my weight since September 2018. Right? Have I eaten things and realized that was a mistake? Oh yeah, I've done that a few times. And I have lots of videos that talk about that and document that. But I really want you all, every wellness warrior that's here with me right now, that's watching this video and trying to understand how to make their life better, their health better. I want you to understand that what you're trying to do when you're doing a keto diet is get comfortable with doing the keto diet so your body can heal you. It really is about eating the things that help me to stay in that ketogenic state so that my body isn't struggling and fighting itself, putting things in fat storage, right? And all the other toxins. Again, I really feel like sometimes Our focus, our wanting to be simple and give you something targeted to look at stops us from telling you the wider reasons to do what you're doing. I don't want to be blocking you from data that helped me. It helped me to know that tomatoes are not just a sugar story, that there's solanine in there that hurts my body, that there's solanine in potatoes that hurts my body, that there's solanine in eggplant that hurts my body. Knowing that these things hurt my body helped me to understand that plants have other things in them besides sugar, which then got me to ask the question, what else could be hurting my body? That was a big step forward for me, Wellness Warrior. It is one of the reasons that today I am currently carnivore, because I understand that these toxic things in plants are harming me. Now, if you're eating a standard American, Canadian, wherever you are living diet, do you need to go straight to carnivore? Absolutely not. Right? No, because just getting the high sugar out of your diet is the number one thing you're going to do. It's step one. So if we talked about like, you know, it's like the biggest damage if you're playing a video game, kitty gamer, the biggest damage is being done by sugar. It doesn't mean that the vegetables and the fruit and the spices are not doing smaller damage. They're just doing small. So this is like your best weapon, right? The sugar is the best weapon the food has against us. But all of these other things are weapons. And I'm going to say this because I'm going to just give it to you. I'll give it to you all today. I want you to do better. My goal is that by the end of the year, I have helped more people stick with their diet than fall off their diet. Those spices that we love so much on our food, they are actually the most potent part of the plant. So we've found the ones that won't kill us and we've decided to sprinkle them on our food. But they're toxic. That's why they taste so strong. Your mouth is reacting, especially the ones that are hot and what, but it doesn't matter whether it's hot or not. When you taste that very strong, spicy flavor that we have learned to love, understand that we've taken the most toxic part of the plant, condensed it down, and then sprinkled it on our food. There's so many reasons to take what we eat seriously. And I learned that piece of information from Dr. Chafee. I'm not going to take credit for that. Dr. Chafee taught that to me. There's so many reasons to take this stuff seriously, but we don't. We ignore it. Well, not that we're trying to ignore. It's not purposeful. We haven't been taught what we needed to be taught to understand how these things impact our health. And we look at the miracle drugs that we pull out of plants as only positive. But we don't understand that if we pull these miracle drugs out of plants and see that targetedly, they can do certain things in our body. Dr. Eid pointed out that we want them to be targeted. They're not targeted. They get into our system and they wreak havoc. But they want us to think that they targetedly do these special things and that everything else is benign. It's not. But then when we chew on the same plants, Wellness Warrior, and ingest them, we need to understand that we are also giving the plant access to come in and do stuff and wreak havoc on our health. That was a long answer to your question, but I hope that I made the point that do keto in a way that's sustainable and you will get results. Diagnosing psychopathy. Hi there, diagnosing psychopathy. Julie, how you doing? Um, you stumble upon some of the best right in the beginning. Thank you. I'm sure that I stumbled upon people who were talking about what I was trying to understand, which was joint pain. And I think when you're very specific in what you're searching for, I'm trying to heal joint pain, then you find the doctors that are talking about how to heal joint pain. And well, in my case, I found the articles that were trying to heal joint pain. And then they talked about inflammation. And then I found the doctors who are talking about how you heal inflammation. And that's where the whole keto and carnivore thing came back together, right? Joint pain is caused by sugar. Well, how the heck do you get rid of sugar? I found Dr. Westman. I found Dr. Fung. And then from there, I learned more about the inflammation. I found the rest of the doctors that were also talking not just about weight loss, Dr. Westman and Dr. Fung, weight loss, but they were talking about health. Dr. Barry, Dr. Bickman, Dr. Berg, Dr. Mason, Dr. Eckberg, um, like all these other doctors that were talking about weight, not just weight loss, but good health that will lead you to weight loss. And I held on to that because what I wanted was good health. And trying to get good health, I did end up getting the weight loss that they talked about, but my goal was to get the good health. Um, Dr. Westman is the bee's knees. I haven't explored much of Dr. Jason Fung's book, but I know he's popular. So Dr. Fung is a nephrologist, so that's kidneys, and I feel like the interesting thing is being a nephrologist, what he explained is like he was talking to all the different branches of medicine because the kidneys are so central to almost everything that's going on. And that's how he started to make the connections for himself. And then he started to talk to his patients about it and express it and expanded. And he does talk about that in his book. Um, but these important lessons that we do learn help us to understand the best thing we can do for our good health. And like we want to feel better. That's the most important thing that we have, is that because we want to feel better, we're going to do whatever it takes to make ourselves feel better. You coming? Huh? You coming here? Um so I think at the end of the day, most people that they want to do very well in life, but when you have channels that give you this impression that you can cheat every other week, or that you can, like it's okay if you ride the edge of 20 grams. If I would have ridden the edge of 20 grams, I would still be overweight because my body needed to be at 18 to 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 heal, to be under 18 to heal, right? And so if I was riding the edge of my carb count all the time, I wouldn't have done well. So I definitely encourage you all, like, yes, I want you to watch my videos, obviously, but I also want you to take a look at some of the people that I get my information from. That's why I named them. I named them so you can know who they are and understand that there is medical understanding behind this, even if the pharmaceutical companies are not wanting it to be true, and even if most doctors are still listening to their pharmaceutical representatives, their pharma reps. If they're still doing that, it doesn't mean that we need to put ourselves in a position where we're taking medications unnecessarily, right? Ultimately, it's my decision whether I take a medication or not. It's your decision whether you take a medication or not. But it's also your decision if you keep eating the standard American, Canadian, German, whatever diet you're eating that's high in carbohydrate. That's your decision. And I want you to see that clearly. Before the end of this year, we are going to get our health back under control. I'm here to help you do that. So join the community. Like I said, take advantage of the special, $10. It's I want to talk to you. I want to change this. So thank you, Julie, for throwing one more question comment at me. I really appreciated this conversation today, guys. I threw a lot of information at you. Rewatch it, take notes, write it down. You can do this. Let's get our health back. It's one meal at a time. You can do it. And I'm going to put a link a video about cravings for those of you who are new to sticking to your keto diet. Make sure I'm going to link 2 videos about cravings, 2 different ones that I did, that I think both of them have different points that can help you. So check out those videos in the description, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.